you ever been lying in bed all night, repeating affirmations in your head like, I'm abundant, I'm loved, everything works out for me, but deep down, something inside you still feels tensed and unconvinced? If you ever checked your phone after someone you liked hasn't replied yet, and even though you know all the manifestation principles, your stomach still drops for a second? If you ever had a week where you felt confident and powerful and aligned with your dream life, only for one small trigger to suddenly pull you back into the old thoughts of maybe I'm not enough, maybe it won't work out for me, then this video is exactly for you. Because the truth is that shifting your self-concept is not about forcing positive thoughts. It's about changing the identity your subconscious and nervous system believes you are. And once that identity changes, everything in your life begins to reorganize it around it. When your self-concept truly shifts, you stop spiraling emotionally over small triggers. You stop looking for constant validation in relationships. Money stops feeling like something that slips through your fingers and starts feeling like something that flows toward you. Opportunities appear faster because your brain and body are not longer filtering through fear and limitation. And manifestation becomes so much faster because you're finally becoming the version of you that naturally lives in that reality. Today we are going to go through the 3 important things together. First, we are going to understand why people keep falling back in their old identity even when they know all the manifestation techniques. Second, we are going to talk about the different areas of life where self-concept tends to collapse the most. And third, I'm going to walk you through a simple process that helps you reset your identity in real time when those old patterns start coming back. And by the way, many of these questions I'm answering today in this video actually came from my Q&A box I posted on Instagram before filming. So if you ever wanted your questions included in future videos, that's where they come from. So now let's start with something very important that most manifestation videos completely skip. Self-concept problems are not just mindset problems. They are subconscious programming problems. Your conscious mind is only a small part of what controls your behavior. The majority of your emotional reactions, your relationship patterns, and even the decisions you make during stressful moments come from the subconscious identity and your nervous system conditioning. That's why affirmations sometimes feel fake. You can say I'm abundant for 100 times, but if your body still associates money with stress, your nervous system will reject that statement immediately. Your body is actually the gatekeeper of identity. Your subconscious mind asks one question every second of the day. Is this safe and is this familiar? If the identity you are trying to step into feels unfamiliar or unsafe, your nervous system will automatically pull you back to the old one. This is why people revert when they get triggered. And this is also why subconscious work can accelerate change so much faster than mindset work alone. Your self-concept is not just one belief. It is actually made of several identity categories that influences different areas of your life. You have your relationship concept, which determines how lovable or chosen you believe you are. You have a money self-concept, which determines how natural abundance feels to you. You have a performance self-concept, which influences wherever you see yourself as capable, disciplined, or successful. You also have a social self-concept, which affects how confident or visible you feel around other people. And finally, you have a body self-concept, which shapes how safe and comfortable you feel inside your own physical presence. And many people are shocked when they realize something very, very interesting. They might have a strong self-concept in one area, but a weak one in another. Someone might feel extremely capable at work, but deeply insecure in love. Another person might feel confident socially but constantly stressed out about money. Self-concept is not one global belief. It is a set of identities that shape how you experience each area of life. And the central concept that connects everything we are talking about today is this: the gap between your desired identity and your nervous system identity. You might consciously want to be the woman who feels abundant, secure, loved, confident in her body, and calm about the future. But if your nervous system still identifies with the version of you who expects rejection, stress, instability, this gap will create constant emotional stress. So the real goal is closing that gap. You want your private inner identity to match the life you want to experience externally. Now, before we go further, I want to pause for a moment and say something very important here. The patterns you experience right now are not your fault. If you grew up in an environment where validation was inconsistent, if love sometimes felt conditional, if you had relationship experience that made you question your worth, of course your nervous system learned to protect you by expecting disappointment. Those patterns are survival strategies. But even though they are not your fault, they are now your responsibility to change. Because the beautiful thing about identity is that it's not fixed. It is trainable, it's like a muscle. Let me show you what this identity collapse actually looks like in real time. Imagine you're talking to someone you really like. The first few days are exciting, you feel confident, you feel chosen. Your brain starts imagining possibilities. And then one evening you notice that their reply took longer than usual. Your mind suddenly starts running small questions. Did I say something wrong? Maybe they lost interest. Maybe I am too much. In that moment, your old relationship identity wakes up. Your nervous system starts scanning for danger. Your chest tightens slightly, and your thoughts speed up. You check your phone more often. Nothing actually happened. But your subconscious belief that says, I'm not consistently chosen, just got activated. It's a trigger. And the moment you react from that belief, maybe by sending another message, maybe by overthinking the situation, maybe by emotional withdrawing, enforces all the old identity. This is identity collapse. Now imagine a different version of you, the upgraded identity. The same situation happens. The reply takes longer. The thought appears for a half a second, but then the version of you pauses. She noticed that activation in her body. She takes a slow breath in, and she tells herself something very simple. One delayed message does not define my worth or my reality. Then she continues her evening. The external situation might even be identical, but the identity responding to it is completely different. This is the gap we're closing. Let me tell you a quick story that explains this even better. Two women both believe they are sometimes not chosen in relationships. The first one constantly checks for a sign that confirms that belief. When someone pulls away slightly, she panics internally. She starts seeking reassurance. Her actions reinforce the identity of someone who fears abandonment. The second woman has the same old belief at first, but she practices something different. When the trigger appears, she regulates her nervous system before reacting. She consciously returns to the identity she is building. Over time, that identity becomes more familiar than the old one. Eventually, the trigger stops controlling her behavior. Both women started with the same belief, but one kept feeding it and the other slowly replaced it. So now let's talk about a simple protocol you can follow when your self-concept collapses. The first step is pause. The moment you notice the trigger, do not immediately react. The second step is regulate. Take a slow breath in and let your body settle first. The third step is awareness. Open your notes app or say out loud what just happened. Something like, my old identity just got triggered. The fourth step is reframing that belief. Ask yourself what the upgraded identity believes in that moment. And the fifth step is internal validation. Give yourself the reassurance you were unconsciously looking for externally. And finally, The sixth step is one aligned action. Do something small that matches the new identity instead of the old one. This is how identity shifts happen in real life. So I have 2 exercises for you now that will make that so much easier. Open your notes app and write one sentence that describes the identity you want to embody. Something like, I'm the woman who is chosen easily, who moves calmly, and who expects abundance. Second exercise. Close your eyes for 10 seconds and imagine one ordinary moment in your future life where this identity already feels natural. Maybe you're checking your bank account and feeling calm. Maybe you're laughing with a partner who respects you. Maybe you are finishing a work project with confidence. This is actually very similar to the type of visualization we sometimes do during our self-hypnosis and quantum healing sessions. The reason these methods work so well is because they communicate directly with the subconscious and the nervous system, not just the logical mind. I see that all the time in my meditation work with clients. Sometimes someone spends years trying to force affirmations, but when they allow their body to experience that feeling of the new identity during a deep meditative state, their shift happens surprisingly quick. I have seen friends, clients, and even my own life change this way. The identity changes first, the external life follows. So let's come back to the beginning of this video. The woman lying in bed repeating affirmations but feeling tension inside. The woman checking her bank account with anxiety. The woman spiraling over a delayed message. That version of you was operating from the old identity. But the upgraded identity does something different. She regulates before acting. She validates herself internally. She chooses actions that match the life she's building. Identity shifts creates reality shifts. And if you focus on becoming just 1% more aligned with that identity every day, something incredible starts to happen. You slowly become 1% hotter and richer every day. I love you, babe. If this video helped you, comment below and tell me which identity you are stepping into this year. Subscribe if you want more videos about subconscious rewiring, nervous system healing, and building the kind of self-trust actually transforms your life. And when you are done with this video, go watch the next one on the screen right here. How to raise your standards, stop proving your worth, know your value, and transform. Because shifting your identity is the first step. But the next step is learning how to react and act from an identity through standards and boundaries. That is where the real transformation begins. I will see you there. Bye, my love.